Moshe, 1571 BC to 1451 BC. The name means to draw out because he was drawn out of water. Introduction. Biological child of Hebrew slaves, adopted prince of Egypt, leader of the children of Israel during their exodus from Egypt, author of the Torah, or the 5 books of Moses. The Israelites were called Hebrew slaves in Egypt. The Hebrews were healthier than the Egyptians, and they multiplied very fast in Egypt, which caused great fear of possible uprising of authority by the Pharaoh. Pharaoh ordered the Egyptian midwives should not allow newborn boys to survive among the Hebrew women. Moses' parents hid him from the midwives and put him in a basket which floated down the Nile River to the bath of Pharaoh's daughter, for which she drew the baby out of the water and adopted him and called his name Moshe. Moses grew up in the Pharaoh's palace and would have been taught Egyptian education and religious beliefs of idolatry or worship of things such as the Apis bull. Moses reached adulthood and grew angry about the cruelty that the Egyptians inflicted upon Hebrew slaves. In secret, Moses ended the life of an Egyptian that was beating Hebrew slaves. However, instead of gratitude among all the Hebrews for defending them, some Hebrews sought compensation by informing the Pharaoh of Moses' defense of the slaves. Moses then fled to the land of Midian, knowing that neither the Hebrews nor the Egyptians found favor with him. Moses married and had 2 sons in Midian. When all the people that sought to take his life in Egypt no longer existed, God began to speak to Moses via a burning bush to return to Egypt to deliver the children of Israel from Egypt to their promised land. God gave Moses a cane that would perform wonders to assist him in delivering the children of Israel out of Egypt. Moses made many excuses for why he should not go down to deliver the children of Israel, such as he has a speech impediment, the children of Israel don't listen to him, and Pharaoh is in total possession of the children of Israel. God then sought to end Moses' life if he refused to go deliver the children of Israel. Moses submitted to God and went to Egypt with the cane of wonders that God had given. Moses met up with Aaron, his brother, who agreed to speak for him to the oppressed people. Moses and Aaron met with the elders of the children of Israel, and they accepted Moses as the messenger of God, sent them to exit out of Egypt to their promised land. Moses And Aaron went before Pharaoh to request he let the children of Israel go. But as God intended, the Pharaoh refused. Once the Pharaoh refused, God brought on 10 plagues over the Egyptians that would ultimately loose their strong hold over the children of Israel for good. Water turned into blood, frog infestation, lice infestation, fly infestation, livestock diseases, pestilence, boils, hail, locusts, darkness, and the loss of the firstborn children. To protect the Hebrews' children, God told the Hebrews to put the blood of the lamb on their doorpost so that the angel of death would pass over their homes en route to the Egyptian households. Once the Pharaoh lost his firstborn son, God softened Pharaoh's heart, and he finally agreed to let the children of Israel go. The Egyptians were so overcome with grief by the angel of death that swept over their households that they gave the children of Israel all their gold and precious metals and frantically told them to leave. Once the children of Israel left Egypt, the Pharaoh changed his heart yet again and sent chariots to follow the Israelites to the Red Sea. God parted the Red Sea, and the Israelites crossed over, but the Egyptians drowned when the Red Sea collapsed on them. And so the Egyptians would no longer be a threat to the Israelites. Moses went up to Mount Sinai to pray, and the Israelites created a golden calf with their gold to worship like the Egyptians do. God intended to end their lives that day. But Moses begged God to think about his legacy and what the people would say about how God brought his own people into the desert to destroy them. God's anger against the Israelites cooled, and God remembered his covenant to Abraham. However, because the Israelites lacked faith, they could not enter the promised land for 40 years until the current generation that left their hearts in Egyptian bondage had passed away. God gave Moses the 10 Commandments, which were basic laws that his people were commanded to follow to prevent wickedness from spreading among them. Commandment number 1. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Commandment number 2. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or in earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, is a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Commandment number 3. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Commandment number 4. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth and the sea and all them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Commandment number 5. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Commandment number 6. Thou shalt not kill. Commandment 7. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Commandment 8. Thou shalt not steal. Commandment 9. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Commandment 10. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Moses set up the court system for the Israelites in the desert, judging their personal disputes on a daily basis. Once the 40 years in the desert passed, Moses passed away, and a young servant of the Lord named Joshua ushered the children of Israel into their promised land. Thank you for joining us for Biblical Moses. Join us for the next episode of Biblical Jesus.